leaders, ranging from helper to assistant engineer, belongs to all associations in the department. It is a translation to my message given in Hindi 2 days back as a reply to the allegations going on in social media seeking by these two associations. They forget about their duties and responsibilities now. They are only now asking the question that what are the achievements of Anilkumar when he was association leader for 20-25 years. And of course, I have no objection in giving the details and my output, even though I am not remembering all the outputs, but I can point out some issues, some outputs. But on the same time, my request to all of you to ask your leaders, artee and adtea leaders of today, what is their output and what are their role as a welfare association after hearing this message. Dear comrades, I do agree that I had limitations when I joined in Delhi in 1998 because by that time we were sent to a corporation under Bharati. We lost the status of government employee by that time when I joined in Delhi in 98 August. And accordingly, in between the fifth CPCS came into effect and they have given some recommendation which was not in the favor of our employees. So accordingly, our senior leaders, old leaders, former leaders, they already approached the anomaly committee through our ministry and DOPT, and they brought the facts to the notice of the committee, and accordingly they have recommended some solution to our issues. But unfortunately, since by that time the organization has been transferred to corporation and the employees are also been transferred there, they brought it and implemented through the via media of Prasar Bharati. So accordingly, first they had won the 90% of the benefits, then they referred to Prasar Bharati, but it was in cold stage for another 1.5 years. So we were compelled to go for agitations, organizational movement, and we have approached the honorable MPs from various parties for political campaigning, in which we have got their blessings also. After making all these efforts, the order of 25/2019 has been issued. Now people are questioning that also, that why it was there, because they doesn't know the reality. Once you are in a corporation, the government cannot implement the pay commission report directly as to the employees. So they have to come through the corporation. So accordingly, they have came through the corporation since we are in corporation, and that was the maximum possible achievement output for the association at that moment. But we were aware that if we have to get every benefit through the government, then the first condition is we have to get the government status. But unfortunately, lot of people were in the fool's paradise. They were naturally, I'm not telling that it was their fault, but most of the people are imagining that we will also get the benefits, huge pan bursts like Indian Oil or ONGC, etc. once we are in a corporation. They were not aware that it is a public service broadcaster, and being in a public service, it will not be a position to even pay our salaries without the support of the government. But people came to the reality only in 2004 January and February, when we realized that the salary for that month were given from our own GPF contribution. Then 8 associations came together under the leadership of late Sri Ravindas Suttaji, who was a visionary leader, who has seen that it is going to affect the career of the employees in future and their salaries in future. So 8 associations came together under his leadership, and we started the movements to educate the employees and to negotiate with the authorities to see that they are not touching our own GPF for giving the salary for us, and to ensure our salary in time. Accordingly, as per the pressure, the management has agreed that they will not touch the GPF. But again, the financial problem came in the next year, 2005, January, February. Then instead of GPF, they have taken the salary from our own pension contribution. You may all aware that whenever we are getting the salary in every month, 12% of the basic pay will be deposited by the department to the Ministry of Finance. Of course, after collecting for 1 year, one financial year, they will collect it till the Ministry of Finance, and from that amount, the interest of that amount, we will get our salary, our pension after superannuation. But unfortunately, once the pension has been stopped, even our pensions were supposed to be in danger without sending the contribution to the Ministry of Finance. So accordingly, from 8 it has extended to 21 associations, and it is a history that how we have fought it out. We had made shows, we have made organizational movements, we have approached the honorable parliamentarians, we have got the political campaign, everything, and ultimately somehow we have got after a long time. But in between, the 6th CPC came to with their recommendations. And since they were on sittings, our people has approached them. We have also submitted our own proposals, demands, but it has been told by the pay commission members that since we are in a corporation, they were not supposed to take care of, and they were not supposed to make any study for the corporation or its employees. So we were compelled to go for a mass cash leave. May I recall you may be remembering that we were supposed to go for a mass cash leave on 28th September 2007, on which Honorable Minister and Secretary NBS had negotiations with us on 27th September 2007, in which the ministers issued that we will continue as government employees for all purpose, including the pay commission benefits. So with that minutes, we approached the pay commission, and we had a meeting with the Sri Ravindra Dholakia, the member of pay commission, on 30th September at Gujarat Bhavan for more than 1.5 hours. After detailed meeting, he has accepted that we will be granted the benefits as per the existing rules. That is, general benefits will be granted to us since they have already finalized the recommendations. Of course, we have got the benefits on general recommendations for the 6CPC, and if it was not implemented, there was no question of granting the benefit from 7CPC also. And even though we have got the pay commissions on general recommendation, it was not considered for our cadres, especially for cadres. Not only that, even in lot of places, our employees were deprived of general pool accommodation. Our wards of our employees were deprived of central school admission. Instead of priority pool, they have been led to the last waiting pool. Then in number of places, CGHS were denied, facilities were denied to our employees. In such a condition, we were compelled to continue the show, and gradually we have got all these benefits back. And after the continuous efforts, Honorable Cabinet on 29th January 2009 taken a decision to retain the employees with the government, that is even up to 5/10/2007, and the matter is referred to Honorable Parliament. Parliament has referred the matter to Parliamentary Standing Committee, and we were granted an opportunity by Honorable Parliamentary Standing Committee to present the case in Parliament Annex, and after a detailed meeting, we have presented all the matter before the Honorable Committee, and ultimately, on their recommendation, Honorable Parliament has taken a decision to retain the employees up to 5/10/2007 as central government employees. It was not an easy flow. Even we had to approach almost all honorable member of parliament in the both the committees, and who are participated in the negotiation on discussion in the honorable parliament, honorable Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha, and fortunately almost all the honorable member of parliament have supported our demands, and accordingly we got the final status as government employees through the Gazette notification of 8th January 2012. So once we have got the status back as Gazette notification, our next role was to get our facilities, our rights back, which were deprived from 1196 or curtailed from in 5th or 6th pay commission. But for that, it was necessary to get the negotiation table. For that, a negotiation table is available as per joint consultative machinery, through which we can have regular quarterly meetings with the Secretary ANB, quarterly meeting with the DGIR, quarterly meeting with the DG Doordarshan, and quarterly meeting with the CO Prasar Bharati. But for that, the requirement was that our association should be recognized. And since we were in corporation, and the RSA, even though the RSA rules were modified in 1993, it took 4-5 years for implementing in every department. But by that time, we were thrown to corporation. So since we were in corporation, RSA rule was not applicable for the corporation and its employees. So it was not applicable for us. But once we have been granted the status, gradually we made the efforts, and after the notification, it has got a momentum, and accordingly, the Honorable Minister has granted recognition to all associations, all eligible associations on 6th March 2013. So by that time, we have got government status, and we have got the negotiation table through which we can have discussions. What was the right of this JCM scheme? We are supposed to have quarterly meetings. In meeting, there will be agenda, there will be minutes, and in the next meeting, action taken report should be presented in the table, that what are the action taken from the previous meeting. So we were supposed to settle all the issues. It was our concept for getting all these rights. But unfortunately, once we got these things, the association leaders were thinking that Anilkumar was as the hindrance before them to now negotiate with the authorities. So they have made a lot of issues, because our condition was that if we were granted 25/299 pay scale as per the orders of through Prasar Bharati, now it was our time to get it through. but it can be made through only an change in the recruitment rules, and for that the entire cadre should the pay scale. And fortunately, our employees joined after 25-299. They were on the court, of course, with the support of the association, and ultimately we have got the verdict. After the fight, in the very long fight, ultimately the verdict came on 9th January 2014 to grant benefit to all engineering students. And there were repeated orders from the Honorable Supreme Court that once the benefit is granted to somebody in the cadre, then it should be applicable for all. So accordingly, I have submitted a letter. That was my last letter as General Secretary RT on 17 January 2014 by quoting all the rules and these verdicts that this should be applicable. The pay scale should be granted to all engineering students. But it has not digested by our association. They issued a dictum that in future whatever the writing by General Secretary should be vetted by the Vice President TV who are not in a position to even write the 2 lines in English. Forget about his capability to write letters. In that condition, when I felt that I have been suppressed and my concept of the welfare is not taken place, I was compelled to come out of the association. So I left the association on 6th February 2014. So immediately the association leaders celebrated in social media that now they have overcame the hindrance of Anilkumar, so they have the freedom to work. Yes, of course. After 6th February 2014, they had the freedom, they had the government status, they had recognition, and they had the freedom from Anil. In that condition, it was so easy for them to have meetings with all the authorities and get issues settled. And that was the first time after 1993, any of the association, our department got the recognition, and this recognition continued for 4 years, from 2013 to 2017. And fortunately, kindly note that at that time, Adi was not existing. Adi started only in 2017. So for this 4 years, it was full freedom for these 2 associations to have 16 meetings with the secretary, 16 meetings with the CEO, 16 meetings with the DJR, 16 meetings with the DG Durashan. It was sufficient, more than sufficient, to settle all our issues. But unfortunately, they never approached for a JCM meeting. They were perhaps not aware of this thing because they never made any efforts for recognition. I can say challenge that I can challenge any association to prove them that who has made these efforts for recognition in 2013. As on today, the leaders of RT and ADTA today, let them prove that what efforts they have done for this recognition this period. It was my single man show for 7 engineering cadres. So I can say, since they have got it free of cost, they were not aware that what is the value for it, so they never utilized it. Now they are putting all the blame and everything on Adi, where Adi came to existence only after the recognition period is over. The recognition was only for 2 years, but they enjoyed it for 4 years instead of 2 years. But within these 4 years, they couldn't do anything else. Forget about the new achievements. In 2014 November, 42 AEs list were ready for MSCP, granting MSCP, but it has been stopped in the last moment by the order from DOPT that one MSCP should be adjusted as 25 to 1999. Since they were having the recognition, it was easy for them to have a meeting with the Secretary and to get it minuted, and it has been implemented that 25 to 99 cannot be compared as a non-MSCP. They failed it, okay. But again next month, in December 2014 onwards, our employees, our cadres, they left the Department of the TAs due to refixation and recovery, again on the same excuse that this 25 to 19 pay scale will be considered as one MSCP. Where were this association? Why they failed to present before the authority, the government, that they cannot make this recovery? After existence of Adi, it was our first priority to ensure that our employees, cadres, not only in Adi members, the entire employees from helper to AE should not leave the department for 3 years. That's why we got it stayed from honorable courts, and we are making the negotiation through the department for a final solution. So we are determined for it. As on today, if you ask me, I can say proudly that even if these leaders of these associations, if they are continuing as government employee today, I have my role on this thing, and they were not having any much role. And if they have got the pay commission benefits of 6th and 7th CPC, I had a role because we have ensured the pay commission, we have ensured all the status today, we have ensured the recognition that period. This everything has been, I had my own role, but these people were never bothered over these issues. So you can ask them. I have at least to say these contributions with me. what are their contribution when they are having the power of recognition, power of government status. When I was fighting, I was not having all these powers. We have only with all your efforts, of course, we have got all these powers. Once they were having the powers, why they have not done anything for association? What is their concept of welfare association as on today? So my humble request to all of you, it is enough. Now we are going to retire in short time. Within 2 to 5 years, most of our employees will be retired, and we will not have too much time to fight it out. Now it is our time to fight for our rights. Once we have joined in the government department and we have got the government status, it is our right to get all facilities from 5th, 6th and 7th CPC, including the ACP and MACP, and we are eligible for everything. We can fight it out. For that, we need a platform and you joining all the employees. You have a platform, Adi with you. We are determined to fight it. Now it is the high time. I ask all the employees from helper to assistant engineer to come and join with Adi, strengthen our hands, and we are assuring you that we will fight for you. We will fight for the cadre without any other selfish interest, and we will ensure that our rights will be fulfilled.